Live from the Business Radio X studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
Welcome back to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, we are broadcasting from inside Renaissance Bank in beautiful Alpharetta. And if you are fed up with the mega bank experience, and if you're at one of those banks, you know what I'm talking about. You're treated like a number. You can't find a human being to talk to save your life. Here's the thing. At Renaissance, here's what the clients I've referred to Renaissance tell me. How about that? They tell me that Renaissance is big enough to handle pretty much any need that they can throw at them, but they're small enough to deliver their service in a personal way. So if that's the kind of banking experience you're looking for your business, go to renaissancebank.com, find one of their local offices, and check in with them. I think you'll be glad you did. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. Now I want to welcome Terry Lakritz and Christopher James. They are the odd couple with Emergency Roofing Solutions. Terry, Christopher, welcome.
Thank you. We're pleased to be here.
Yeah, great to have both of you. So let's talk about the two of you and how you're serving folks at Emergency Roofing Solutions. I think we have an idea, but let's talk about it.
I was a homeowner, and I live in a townhouse community. Last spring, I went into my backyard and did some spring cleaning, and I noticed shingles were in my garden. And so I looked to the left of my neighbor's house, of course, and it wasn't his roof. I went to the other side, it wasn't their roof. And then I looked up, and lo and behold, of course, it was mine. And I went on the mission of trying to find an honest roofer. And it was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I called in 8 different people for estimates. And I got everything from, we only take cash up front, only half up front. We don't work with insurance companies, they're rip-offs. Or, oh, little darling, I'm here to take care of you. Don't you worry about a thing.
Oh, boy. That's when you grab your wallet and hold on tight, right? When
Just
you hear that.
Just about. I called on a very dear friend who is a commercial realtor. And I said, you got to help me find somebody. This is what I'm going through. And he said, I have a guy's name. I know him from the chamber. And he's done work for me. Let me give you his name. Chris came to my door, knocked on the door. I let him in, and I had all my 8 contracts lined up. And I showed him 1 through 8. And I looked at him, and I said, and what are you going to do? And what are you going to say to win my business? I think I was his worst nightmare.
Well, it must have worked out okay. He's sitting here.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it took 4 hours to explain and convince me that this company, Emergency Roofing, is the real deal, and he's going to be there with me every step of the way. And the only thing they wanted in return was talk to your neighbors. You live in a little townhouse community. So needless to say, I went with them. They did a phenomenal job. Everything they said they were going to do and when they were going to do it, they did it. This was amazing to me. And I was so pleased with the work. And he just said, talk to your neighbors. We love referrals. The next thing I know most of my neighbors. It's a small townhouse community of 30 some odd homes. And I think we got 22 of them that needed roofs as well.
Wow.
I felt like Oprah Winfrey. I would go from house to house. You get a roof, and you get a roof, and you get a roof. And it was a blast helping my neighbors. And I'd come by, and they would just think this was the greatest thing. Chris walked back into the neighborhood. He parted the seas. They loved him.
He's the most popular man in your neighborhood.
Just about.
Okay.
So, needless to say, the president of the company called me up. Chris called me up, and he said, the guy would like to see you. And I went in. I figured, all right, maybe I did something wrong or whatever. And he said, you need to be working for us. And I said, I'm a yoga teacher. I'm not going to go climb roofs.
Right.
That's not going to happen. I'm not knocking on strangers' doors. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to be pounding on a roof, and I'm not really big and bulky. So that's not going to be it. What can I do? And he said, build relationships. This is what we are. We want to be part of this community, and you guys are the team to make that happen. and show the culture at Emergency Roofing Solutions. And we looked at each other and we said, let's give it a try. And that was over a year ago. And I couldn't ask for a better partner in the world. We have a blast.
Yeah.
We're definitely the odd couple. He's 29, and I've done that already many times.
And you're 25, right?
Something like that. And so we capture lots of demographics and women. And I'm not your typical, neither is he, face of the average roofer that comes into your neighborhood.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But neither one of you are. So, Christopher, talk about so Terry's told the story, but talk about like how you obviously came in and did a great job, but talk about what it was like to, I guess, be put together with Terry and how that gelled for you.
Certainly. I'm Christopher James. I was referred to Terry. We started that first when she said 4 hours at her dinner table. Yeah, I definitely put blood, sweat, and tears into this job for sure.
Have you ever had a client that took you 4 hours since then, or
honestly, Terry might have been the most
thorough?
Thorough and just straightforward. This is what I want. This is how many people have tried and didn't answer. What can you check all my boxes because none of these other people have? And I just want honesty and transparency. So working with that, she wanted to learn about the industry. So I did a 4-hour masterclass with her in her house. And then we decided we'd work together.
You were paying for the transgressions of all these other folks.
Yeah. I see that. That's typical. A lot of cloudiness, a lot of gray in the industry, a lot of questions.
Yeah.
There's a long list of typical ones I get quite often.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, working with Terry, I feel grateful. So this has been a great partnership. I've been before I was done working with partners, I was like, I can manage my own schedule, my own time, make my own appointments. I can work the way I have a system. I can follow my own system. But then, so I was working on my own. Then Terry, we all had that conversation. We'd started working together, and then I'm grateful for that partnership.
I'm curious about something because, Terry, you talked about the president of the company saying, we want to build relationships. This is not the first word that pops into one's mind when they think about roofing company. It's a very transactional business typically because people don't get a roof every few months. It's and so when you talk about building relationships, expand on that and why that y'all believe that's so important for you in terms of your work in the community.
Our work in the community is, at my stage of my life now, I want to give back where I can. As a woman, and being exploited is probably the only word of somebody pounding on your door trying to sell you something.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to learn, and who's telling you the truth? Where's transparency? When I did this and I helped my neighbors and they showed gratitude, I said, this is a gift that I have and I have to share it. I wanted to go into the community, make it less frightening, not such a hard decision to make, and educate people where I can. I wanted to go, my previous life before this was corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
So I had selling abilities and relationship building skills. And it was, the chamber is the place I need to meet people. Mm. No, the average homeowner, no, they do their roof and hopefully it lasts them 20, 30 years. Their biggest job is to outlive their roof. Mm. But when you can meet with property managers and you can meet with realtors and you can meet with insurance adjusters and you don't know who somebody else knows and how you can help them. Somebody calls you in the middle of the night. I have a horrible leak. Who am I supposed to call? Think of us. Somebody will be there to top your roof so that your kid upstairs can sleep safely. Mm. The little things we go out of our way for, and that's what people remember. They don't remember necessarily the transaction, but they remember how you made them feel. Mm. And it always comes back to that. Were they honest? Were they upfront? Did they care about me? And that's what we're building with the community. We're residents of the community. We live here. We play here. We eat here. And the people that we've met have been wonderful. And that's how it has evolved.
That's terrific.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. So why we're focused on the community is because, like you said, unless the homeowner or the business owner has multiple properties, it's our clients not monthly. It's not residual income.
Sure.
It's one transaction, 15, 20 years down the road, possibly another transaction. So we were looking to grow in the community and just make ourselves known as, like, we don't plan on going anywhere. We chose Alpharetta to root because we're from Alpharetta. There's a good community built in Alpharetta
And
North Fulton.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm a local here from Alpharetta, North Fulton. And so I'm at the point where I'm wanting to start giving back and meeting my community and meeting my neighbors. Because like Terry said, it was physically her neighborhood where she was helping people. But I take that same mindset to the neighbors down the road, down the street.
Yeah.
10 miles away. Like, they're still my neighbors.
Folks, we're chatting with the odd couple, at least the odd couple when it comes to roofing, Terry Lakritz and Christopher James. They're with Emergency Roofing Solutions. So I want to save people some time here and winnow down that 4 hours that you spent, Christopher, with Terry explaining the roofing business so they could understand. We're going to winnow that down to just a few minutes here. Let's get into what people need to think about when it comes to their roof. And it seems to me maybe the way to start is that most people really are probably waiting for some sort of insurance involved catastrophe.
Right.
So that the insurance company will pay for it, right? That's
Correct.
probably what's happening.
Yeah, and
Right.
insurance is an option, but it's not the only option. It's not always the best option. So every situation's different. Just because your neighbor down the street had an insurance claim and the roof was replaced doesn't mean yours will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I guess let's talk about the kind of things people need to be looking for when it comes to signs that they need to pay attention to their roof before catastrophe strikes.
I think you got to look at the age of the roof first.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at somebody's home, that's probably their most valuable asset. You take your car in regularly for an oil change, you change your tires, you rotate your tires, you take maintenance, you take care. Most people don't think about their roof unless it's leaking or unless things are flying off of it. And that's your safety net. That's your home, and that's a tremendous asset. So I think it's educating people that when your house starts getting a little older, and now in this market, after 10 years, insurance companies are sending out little letters to people, your roof is too old, we don't want to insure you anymore. And that's happening with large insurance companies. So I think people have to become a little bit more aware of their roof, keeping them safe and sound, the protection that they need, the security that they need.
Doing their due diligence, protecting their assets.
And have us or anybody else come out after the house is 10 years old, every year or two, come out, do a free inspection. What do you see up there? Is there anything I should be concerned about? Because once you get water infiltrating your house, you have an issue. The damage is going to be a lot more. Your losses are going to be a lot more. And it's a lot more concern of safety. So you want to have the best product that you can that's going to give you that. In the past, the roofs took winds of maybe 30, 40 miles an hour. The storms are coming in now heavy and hard. And new roofs now are made with new upgrades that a new roof should be able to withstand winds of 130 miles an hour.
Oh, wow. Let's go back to what you were talking about. I think that this is important about the insurance companies saying, hey, your roof's too old. And therefore, we need to pay attention to this, right? So
Correct.
So we want to be on the front edge of this and forestall this. So what do you need to do? What's the age of the roof when you need to start really paying attention to this? And what can you do maybe short of replacing the roof entirely to make the insurance company feel better that you're not such a bad risk after all?
Yeah, so on the roofing surface, roofing system, after 10 years, you start seeing failure in the flashings, the chimney flashing, pipe, anything that's flashing or pipe boots, anything
Soft metals.
anything where the the vent is extruding through the roof.
Sure.
That you want to protect those flashings. The pipe boots will dry rot after a certain age. After 10 plus years, they start dry rotting, cracking. Potential leaks can come from the pipe boots. Then also the chimney flashings or any flashing where siding hits the roofing surface, where there's any step flashing or coil flashing. Those typically leak first because the caulk can dry rot and the flashing is exposed. Water can just, with the wind-driven rain, not every time it rains doesn't mean it's going to leak. When the roof is having these malfunctions, minor issues, it will leak when it's wind-driven rain. With those 60-mile-an-hour rainstorms, you'll see leaks that on rainstorms with no high winds won't typically leak.
And for those that don't know what flashing is, we're talking about the pieces of metal generally that are basically where a chimney or something else meets roof, and where there's a gap, right?
Think of it at the border.
Yeah,
it's a border material that goes between the shingles and the siding of the house, or between the shingles and the chimney brick. Yeah, it's just anywhere where there's edges of the shingles.
It's like a baseboard. It's like a baseboard that you would see on your roof.
Yeah, at 10 years, these systems start failing.
Yeah, the roofing caulk starts drying up, dry rotting. The pipe boots are made of rubber. Those start dry rotting.
The heater is very hot in the summer, and that attributes it. And that's just the climate that we're in right now. So,
well, that's for certain, and every summer. But so,
and speaking of that, like different environments of the house have different issues. Meaning, no tree coverage, high tree coverage. Here in Georgia, there's a lot of trees. We're in a forest, so the homes that have heavy tree coverage have different issues than the homes that don't have any trees around the property. Homes with heavy tree coverage might not have the same storm damage that typically houses that have exposed roofs would incur. And then also the homes where the heavy tree coverage have a lot more tree debris falling in the gutters. You'll start seeing a lot more leaks around the fascia and the soffits. When the gutters are full of leaves and debris, it will leak back into the perimeter of the building and seep down your exterior walls, where that might not be as severe on a home with no tree coverage. So it's situational.
So if I'm proactive in hire you to make proactive kinds of repairs and changes to some of these systems that wear out quicker, does that get reported to the insurance company so they know that I'm doing my job and trying to keep from being a bad risk, and
before
maybe
you get that letter?
Before I get the letter, and maybe lessen the blow on my premium increases every year.
Yeah, that's definitely a conversation you choose to have with your agent.
Okay.
Because you don't talk to the claims side of the industry unless you make a claim. Then you have to report to the adjuster. But typically you would have that discussion. If you do general maintenance, you want to keep the documents showing that you've done your repairs, you've had a company out to perform maintenance. You keep that, you provide that to your agent at your insurance company, ask them to review your policy on the next, just continue every year, ask them to rewrite and review your policy to make sure it's up to date with the age of the roof, the condition of it, and then when the maintenance was performed.
The other thing with the insurance companies that we've been very successful with is obviously the amount of claims and how many of them are really legitimate claims. A lot of these fly-by-nights, the guy that comes with the truck and says, I'm going to replace your roof and whatever the dirt cheap thing is, and this is what you need. You know what? You need a professional to come out. Some people just call the agent and say, I think I have a leak. I want to put in a claim. Maybe call out a professional before you call that claim in. It might just need a repair that's less than your deductible or close to your deductible. So if you have $1,000 deductible and you have a repair for $1,200 or $1,300, do you really want to file that claim and take that chance of bringing it to their attention?
Sure.
Or pay it. You've had it repaired, but you have a record of it. So if a year or two down the road, it needs to be replaced, you've already repaired it and it's not holding. So you're setting up a story for your insurance company, and it might not happen overnight that you're going to get it, but maybe the next storm would be something that you would qualify for. So we tell them, give us a call. They know now that we're not just there to rip them off. We're not one of those kind of roofers. We're we're a roofing company that's legit, we're transparent, and we tell it the way it is. We'll tell plenty of homeowners, you just need a repair. Want to wait for a storm, that's great. Others, it's just a plain old roof that the homeowner might have to take on their own responsibility. And we offer options for them because it's not a cheap investment.
Right.
But it'll increase the value of their home tremendously.
They'll get lower insurance premiums. Roof.
Insurance, new roof discounts, and a nice level of safety and security.
What you mentioned, the fly-by-nights.
Right.
And I think we've all had the knock at the door, and the had recently such and such up the street is having their roof repaired, and we thought we might want, while we're out here, we'll take a look. And I just happened to know such and such, and I knew they weren't getting their roof repaired. So that we had an interesting conversation after that about their honesty and integrity. But surely that's not true for all people that do.
Homeowners' names are public records.
Right.
So you can look up who's the neighbor, and then they can say their name.
Precisely. Precisely. So should I automatically not trust anybody that knocks on my door?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But you know what? The first questions are, who did you use? Tell me who your customers are. Show me referrals. Are you licensed? Are you bonded? Are you insured? Who do you do business with? What products do you use?
Look at their business profile.
Look at, are they an A+ rated Better Business Bureau company, which we're very proud of to be part of the BBB here. What kind of reviews do you have? Just because somebody knocks on your door doesn't make them a bad guy. It's a guy out there trying to make a living, or
Sure.
a woman out there trying to make a living. But at the same time, know who you're talking to. There's a lot of, I don't want to say like a shyster or somebody or a scammer or whatever that's looking to take advantage of you. Do your homework.
There's a lot of people, roofers or gentlemen who canvas door knock, that will just try to file any claim possible to see if they'll get a good response from the insurance provider. And that's just not what we focus on.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that if we do go the claim route, then it's a legitimate claim, legitimate damage, and a real storm that could cause that damage. Other than that, it's repairs or retail replacements.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of storm chasers. When a storm hits an area, you get inundated with, you could look in a neighborhood with 60 different roofing companies there. Find out if they're local. That's the first question. We could all get hit with a tornado. We're in this little zone now, and the damages are quite severe through a zip code or a neighborhood, be it hail, be it wind. And roofing companies have access to what neighborhoods have gotten hit. So that's why they flock there.
Gotcha.
And so having that as a tool, just get a little information about them. Just don't take the first guy that walks through the door. There's a lot of good roofing companies out there.
Take it as a sign that you could have an issue, because they're trained to look for
Damaged areas.
Right.
Like, they don't want to knock on a door that doesn't need help, because then they'd be wasting their time.
Sure.
So
That's actually a wonderful point, because what you're saying is use their scouting that they've done for you, but you may not necessarily want to use them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because you're only getting your door knocked on if you have an issue.
Right.
That they can see from the ground.
Okay. Got it. Drones. Do y'all use drones?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Okay. And talk about why that's such a valuable technology when it comes to spotting places that need repair.
Yeah, so we have two types of drones. One we use just for general inspection, general overview photos. And we also have one that's AI generated, can find damage through software. So if we use those, it eliminates having the risk of having to have someone on the roof physically. In general, some scenarios you still need someone to climb and inspect.
Right.
It's always better to have a physical person inspecting it, but the AI generated reports do a good, fair job at the general facts. So it's important to have that for the safety of the climbers. The homeowners are feeling better about using a drone because they know no one was up there. Nothing could have been tampered with or
made to look worse than it really looks. The other thing is, it's interesting because you could use it as a good evaluator of, should I climb? If you don't really see anything there and there's nothing really evident, there's no leaks, a drone is perfect. But unless you're standing on that roof, you can't feel if that roof is soft wood that might have rotted, and you start seeing some dips, and you could feel it when you walk on it. A drone is taking a picture. When you're up there, you could see, or in wind. When you're looking down, you might be able to see some creases where the shingle flapped up, but not necessarily. So unless you're up there and you could actually stick your hand underneath it and feel it, it's something that it's a phenomenal tool, but it's not the only answer. I like saying
it's good for finding out the general condition of a roof.
Yeah.
And then also finding damages that are obvious, but you just can't see from the angle where you're at on the ground. You need an eagle view.
AI meets roofing. I had no idea. That's pretty cool. I think it would be great if you could talk about a success story or two that helps illustrate the great work you do.
Certainly. And Terry is my first number one success story.
Yeah, we've already heard number one. Yeah.
Ever since we've been working together, we've had several. I believe one that stands out to me was a recent one that was a referral from an agent. And then we did an inspection. She had leaks in several rooms, almost every room. It was 5 rooms in the house, 5 ceilings were damaged with water damage. We were able to, this was not an insurance, this was a retail. But
it came from her insurance agent.
But it came before she made the claim.
Okay.
Yeah. So we helped her identify the issues. It turned out that she had rotten decking on her roof. The whole roof needed to be redecked just because of mildew, mold, and soft rotten wood on her decking. And all the flashings were leaking. And it was such a small house. For all the flashing repair would have been $2,500 to $3,000, but the full roof replacement was $6,000. So
oh wow,
it was that size of a house. So whereas, look, you have all bad decking. Let's just go ahead and take care of this. We gave her all the options. This is what you necessary to stop the leaks. Replace the flashing. Yeah, but we could give you the whole roofing system with the size of the condition of your job, the size of your house. It could make sense. If you're already going to open that book, then just go ahead and do everything right the first time. You're covered for 20 more years.
Yeah.
Because the roof was already over 10 years old. So if we're repairing $2,500 worth of flashing to a 10-year-old roof, there may be issues in 5 or 6 years with the other portions of the roofing system we didn't touch. So that's where that was ended up.
We also helped her. She had so much damage, and she had mold, and she needed mitigation, and she needed a painter, and she needed a lot of different trades. And we have a network of people that we work with, and we were able to supply her people that we trust. Here's a woman that's single. She's a nurse. She's living alone, and she had concerns. She had asthma, and you could just see the anguish that this poor woman was going through. And when we came into her life, she said, "You guys are angels. You're finding me a network. I wouldn't know who to call first. What is mitigation? What does it even mean?" And it means getting rid of your mold. We'll get you a painter. We'll get you whatever you need to put your house back in order, to give you that safety. And if you could find her review, I'd love to read you the review that she wrote for us, because she was just as delighted could be that somebody actually cared about her. And we kept checking back with her, and some things took time. And we weren't just the guy that, here, we're just taking care of your roof and we're out of here. We helped her get her place back to where she's at. We send Christmas cards to our customers, our clients. We recognize them. We'll drop them off something. We appreciate them, and hopefully they'll just pass our name along when they hear of anything else, because we care. And if you don't mind, a little long, did extensive research on roofing costs. The Odd Couple roofing contractors with Emergency Roofing, Terry and Chris, are phenomenal. The team was the best that I've encountered in Atlanta in the last 20 years. I contacted my insurance provider regarding damage sustained by weather. I received a prompt call from Terry and set up an appointment the following Monday. After completing the damage assessment, Terry and Chris reviewed the damage, explained all my options to correct the problem, and answered questions. They assisted me with every aspect of my claim, including schedule, the estimates with peripheral contractors. They were in touch with me daily, either by phone or in person. They have expert knowledge in roofing damage, repair to structural needs and options, and the skills provided by the on-site managers and roofing team were beyond excellent. I trusted Terry and Chris from our first meeting. It was obvious that Emergency Roofing Solutions and the Odd Couple team held my interests and needs of as a homeowner above anything else. The cost to replace my roof was below what I paid 7 years ago. The team was professional, but by the time the project was completed, I felt as though I was part of a family of honest, good people.
Oh, wow.
So
that
when you get
is
something
sparkling.
like that,
Wow.
it makes us, we're part of this community.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Wow. That's what a punchline there at the end. Let's be clear on the types of clients you work with. It's not just residential, you do commercial work as well.
Correct.
Yeah, we do. We focus on steep slope, whether it's residential or commercial properties, anything with the pitch. If the roof has shingles, metal, tile, like slate, then we can focus on that. We do this majority of our clients with the steep pitched roofing systems.
Okay.
We'll do churches, we'll do condominiums, we'll do townhouses, we'll do apartment complexes, strip shopping centers, as well as any homeowner, any home residential. We'll even do your doghouse or gazebo for you.
Oh, wow. Okay. keep Rover dry. That's fantastic. I think this has been great, and congratulations to both of you on the great work that you do for your clients and the great reviews you're getting. Let's get to the most important question, which is how folks can find you and get in touch.
Certainly. You can find us at our website is emergencyroofingsolutions.com. The Instagram handle for us is theoddcouple_official. And then our phone number is 678-906-0458.
Terrific. Terry Lakritz and Christopher James, they are the odd couple at Emergency Roofing Solutions. Congratulations on the work you're doing and the impact you're making, and we're just delighted we could shine a light on it.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to spend time with you this afternoon. We loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Y'all have a good one. Keep up the great work. Hey, folks, just a couple of quick things before we let you go for today. If you are looking for a genuinely classic, authentic, and traditional Italian food, then you need look no further than Casanova Italian Restaurant. Casanova is located here in the Alpharetta area. They're on Highway 9, just north of McFarland. And they were farm to table before that was cool. They've had a garden back behind that restaurant for years, and they grow all their own tomatoes and corn and peppers and zucchini and herbs that they use in their various dishes. And they bring those in the back door and combine those with the pasta and chicken and seafood and veal options that they have and just deliver fantastic dishes there. And Maria Fundora and her team are just fabulous. And if you go one time, you're a member of the family. And so I encourage you to check them out. Go to CasanovaRestaurant.com. They also do catering. So if you're interested in that, you've got a party coming up, let them know. They'll be glad to help you out. Also, I just want to remind you that I've got a book out. It's called The Generosity Mindset: A Journey to Business Success by Raising Your Confidence, Value, and Prices. If you need help in your business with expressing your value, understanding the value of your service offering, your positioning, business development, or pricing, this book may be for you. Go to thegenerositymindset.com to learn more and to find out where to buy the book. And thank you in advance for your support. Also, I just want to thank you, our listener. You have supported us over the years tremendously, and we're so grateful for you. We're coming up on show number 800. We've been at this for 8 years now, and when we started. I wasn't sure where we were going, but I didn't think about Show 800, and it's in our sights. And we've only gotten this far because of you. You continue to support us in so many different ways, including sharing the show, liking us on social media, sending us great guests, and most importantly, doing business with our guests. And please continue to do that. We're here to highlight great businesses in the North Fulton region, and you help us live in our mission to do that and to be the voice of business in the North Fulton region. So for my guests, Terry Lakritz and Christopher James, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.